Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Western adventure this hour with a Western West Coast program, Straight Arrow. This episode was originally broadcast on May 6, 1948. Stage to Calvados.
Keen eyes fixed on a flying target. A gleaming arrow set against a rawhide string. A strong bow bent almost to the breaking point. And then...
Straight arrow. Nabisco Shredded Wheat presents Straight Arrow, a new thrilling adventure story from the exciting days of the Old West. To friends and neighbors alike, Steve Adams appeared to be nothing more than the young owner of the Broken Bow cattle spread. But when danger threatened innocent people, and when evildoers plotted against justice, then Steve Adams' rancher disappeared. And in his place came a mysterious, stalwart Indian, wearing the dress and war paint of a Comanche, riding the great golden Palomino, galloping out of the darkness to take up the cause of law and order throughout the West, comes the legendary figure of Straight Arrow. And now, Straight Arrow. The route of the Sawbuck stage line between Flint Rock and Calvados runs along the flat prairie, and then through a steep cut in the Sangre Cristos Mountains. The mountain road begins only a dozen miles from the ranch house of the Broken Bow cattle spread. It's a hot afternoon, and Steve Adams, owner of the Broken Bow, and his friend Packy are out hunting strays. As they come around a jutting shoulder of rock, Steve Adams calls a halt, his keen, dark Indian eyes under the brim of his Stetson sweeping over the buffalo grass and the foothills of the Sangre Cristos.
Oh, son. No sign of those strays around here, Packy. Reckon they must have drifted some other direction. Can't see hide nor hair of them.
You can't, eh? Now, Steve, you mean a scrunchy old placer miner like me's got better eyes than Straight Arrow?
Packy, I told you dozens of times, don't call me by that handle.
Why not? That's who you are, right enough, Straight Arrow. The mysterious Comanche Indian that rides that big Palomino horse.
I'm not riding him now. As far as everybody's concerned, I'm just plain Steve Adams, cattleman.
Everybody except me, Steve. But don't fret, I only call you Straight Arrow when we're alone.
All right, Packy, never mind. You were saying something about my eyes.
Yep, sure was. I spotted a cloud of dust that you didn't. See it yonder up there in the foothills?
I saw it a long while ago, Packy.
You did?
Yep, and it's not our strays. It's a Sawbuck stage for Calvados. That dust is moving right above where the trail ought to be.
Oh, shucks. And I figured for once I'd outsmarted you. Yep, it's a stage right enough.
We can't see it, just the dust, but... Packy.
Huh? What's biting you, Steve?
It stopped.
Well, what if it has? Maybe it sprung an axle or broke a trace or... Gee, Hoshaphat, Steve! Shoot!
Yeah, Packy. I reckon what stopped that stagecoach is a holdup. Come on, prod up your pony. We gotta get there pronto. Get up, old son. Get up.
Led by Steve Adams, the men swung their mounts up the rocky trail that coiled like a snake between the rising cliffs of stone. Above the sound of hoofs, they could hear the rattle of gunfire as they urged their horses onward. Then the shooting died down. They burst out into a clearing on top of a rise and saw the stagecoach. One man lay unconscious, sprawled across the boot. Another man, the driver, was kneeling on the blanket seat, firing across the top of the coach.
Whoa, whoa there. Driver, which way they go?
Yonder, mister, down over the bow. But he's gone, no sense wasting.
We'll have a look, see. Get up there.
Whoa.
Pull. Pull there. Pull.
Hey, gents, wait up. No sign of him, huh? That's what I figured.
You're the driver?
Yeah, my name's Murdoch. Been driving stage for the Sawbuck for 3 years.
Anybody hurt? I noticed that other gent wasn't doing much stirring around.
Lacey? Oh, he's all right. Got clipped by a ricochet. He's coming around.
What about your passengers?
Not hauling any passengers this trip. All we was carrying was some Wells Fargo securities. That's what that ornery sidewinder was after. Blast his hide. Drew down on us before we could make a move. Then he ambles up calm as you please and gets the securities. Knew right where they was.
He knew where they were, huh?
Yep. And there was something mighty familiar about that hombre. I could swear I'd seen him before.
He was masked?
Sure. Stetson pulled down and wore a handkerchief. But even so...
Here, just a minute.
Huh?
What's that?
What?
Right at your feet.
Well, I'll be dogged. Steve, it's a knife. A Bowie knife.
Yeah, Pecky. Lying right here on the trail. Hasn't been here long. It's clean and shiny. Wait a minute. There's a name on the handle.
Murdoch, what happened? Okay, put away with the stuff.
He did, Lacey. But maybe he won't get far. This gent just found his Bowie knife. Mister, what's the name on that knife?
It's Randy Culver.
Randy Culver? Murdoch, that...
Yeah, Lacey. That sure ties in. I knew I'd seen him before. Ornery little polecat. So he'd rob his own outfit, would
Now,
he?
just a minute, Murdoch. Back trail there. I don't savvy. This, Randy Culver works for the Sawbuck stage?
He does, mister. In the Calvados office.
And you think it was him?
Mister, we're plumb positive.
Yeah, it all figures out, stranger. Young Culver knew we was carrying them securities, and he can use them. His mother's sick, needs cash for a trip back east to get operated on.
Yeah, but I never calculated that little squirt would try to get it this way. Well, one thing sure, we'll pick him up easy.
You will? How?
I'll bet gold dust to a cactus plant. Culver headed straight back to Calvados, just as innocent as you please. Mister, give me that knife. Lacey and me are driving on to Calvados.
Packy, let's amble along with him. I'm kind of curious to see this Randy Culver gent.
Several hours later, just at twilight, the Sawbuck stage rolls into Calvados and pulls up in front of the company office. Steve Adams and Packy drop off their ponies at the hitching rail and follow the stagecoach men inside. A kerosene lamp hangs from the ceiling, casting a yellow glow on the small room. And behind a desk, a tall young man looks up as they enter.
Well, Murdoch, Lacey, howdy. The stage is late. You have any trouble?
Yeah, Culver. We had trouble. And I reckon you know all about it. Here. Is this yours?
Yeah, it's my knife. Where'd you find it?
Well, where do you think? Up in the Sangre Cristos. Right where you dropped it after you robbed the stage.
Robbed the stage? Now look here, Murdoch.
Murdoch, maybe we ought to search his desk. It'd be just the kind of slick trick it'd pull. Hiding them Wells Fargo securities right under our noses.
Good idea, Lacey. Culver, stand away from that desk.
Well, sure, but you're heading up the wrong trail. I was...
Murdoch. Here they are, right in the bottom drawer.
Well, Culver.
Well, I don't know how they got there.
Lacey, go call the sheriff.
No, you can't. My mom's sick. You can't.
Call the sheriff, Lacey.
Don't move, Lacey. Don't nobody move.
Here, Culver, put down that gun.
You keep out of this, stranger. None of your affair. Put your hands up, all of you.
You're not leaving, Culver.
Keep your hands off your guns, Murdoch. I'm warning you.
Try and stop me. If it's gun smoke you want, then you... Steve! Steve, look out!
He's gone. Come on, Steve.
Wait! He smashed the lamp. The place is on fire. Never mind him. We'll catch up with him later. Put the fire out of the whole dang office. We'll burn to ashes.
It took a few minutes for the four men to subdue the flames started by the broken kerosene lamp. By the time they got outside, a crowd had gathered, and there was no sign of Randy Culver.
Randy! Where's my son, Randy?
Excuse me, ma'am. You're Mrs. Culver, Randy's mother?
Yes. Where is he? What's happened?
Ma'am, I'm afraid your son is in a heap of trouble.
Trouble? Randy? Oh, no.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Culver. Me and Lacey here can attest to that. Your son tried to rob the stagecoach.
Not Randy, no. Where is he?
He got on a horse and skedaddled while we was putting out the fire. Mrs. Culver, your son's an outlaw, that's what.
Oh, please. Randy'd never do a thing like that. He'd never...
Murdoch, that's enough.
Oh.
Ma'am, you're not well. Packy, lend a hand. We got to get Mrs. Culver back to her home.
Oh, I sure think, Steve. Now, ma'am, don't you fret none now. Everything will be all right.
The widowed woman lived in a small bare shack at the end of the narrow main street of Calvados. Steve and Packy led her there, made her comfortable, and a few minutes later went back to the hitching rail where they had left their ponies.
Sure is too doggone bad. A nice woman like that and her son has to be crooked. Reckon he'll get away, Steve?
I don't know, Packy. We sent a posse after him, but he had a good start. It's mighty dark. But we can find him, Packy.
We? Oh, Steve, this ain't any of our concern.
I think it is. And the sooner we get to Sundown Valley, the better.
Sundown Valley? Steve, do you mean...
Yes, Packy. Sundown Valley in the hidden cave. It's time for me to hit the trail as Straight Arrow.
A short distance from the Broken Bow cattle spread lay Sundown Valley, and in it, a weather-beaten mine shack which stood at the entrance to an apparently deserted mine shaft. But the mine shaft is not deserted. Within, through a secret entrance known only to Steve Adams and Packy, lies a vast subterranean cave. The walls of the cave glitter with crystals of gold. From some unknown source comes light that spreads a shimmering gleam everywhere. As the two men enter, a great golden palomino tosses its head and whinnies eagerly.
Steady, big horse.
A Comanche bow and Comanche arrows hang on the wall. There's Comanche war paint and Comanche garb. Quickly, Steve Adams changes, and in a moment...
Steady, great stallion. Steady. Stand ready. This is your master who speaks. This is Straight Arrow.
A clatter of hoofs in the vast vaulted cave. An Indian war whoop that rings from the glittering rock. Out into the night gallops the great golden palomino, and riding bareback, clad in Indian garb from head to toe, Straight Arrow on the trail of justice.
Faster, great speed, to Calvados! Faster!
May 6, 1948, Straight Arrow on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Straight Arrow, May 6, 1948.
Once again, Steve Adams' rancher has disappeared. And in his place has come the legendary figure of the Comanche Indian known as Straight Arrow. Now in war paint and Indian garb, a Comanche bow slung over one shoulder, and over the other a quiver of arrows, Straight Arrow travels through the night with his friend Packy beside him, until, in the moonlight, they see in the distance the sleeping town of Calvados.
Oh, great Steve. My friend, from here we must go as quietly as the prairie wolf. The house of Randy Culver is on the far side of the town.
But what are we going there for? We was there early this evening.
As Steve Adams, Packy. Now it shall be Straight Arrow who will speak to Randy Culver.
But he ain't there.
He will be there. Come, my friend. Up, great Steve.
Circling the town, Straight Arrow and Packy rein up in the draw not far from the Culver home. Then, leaving Packy with the horses, the Indian slips silently into the shadows. A few moments later, he moves quietly toward the door of the house. Inside, Mrs. Culver is talking to her son, the fugitive, Randy Culver.
Yes, Mom?
I know you're near frantic for cash to send me east so I can be operated on. But, Randy, son, did you do it?
No, Ma, I swear I didn't. I don't savvy how my knife got up there on the trail. I lost it 2 days ago. And as for how those securities got in my desk, well, I don't savvy that either. But I didn't do it. What in thunder? An arrow. A Comanche arrow.
Do not be alarmed, my friend. That arrow is mine.
Injun, who are you? What do you want?
I opened your door quietly as you spoke. I am your friend, Men call me Straight Arrow.
Straight Arrow? Injun, I've heard of you. You help out those in trouble. I beg of you, help my son. He didn't do this. He's innocent.
Straight Arrow knows. When there is a crooked trail, Straight Arrow knows. But, Culver, you cannot stay here. Already 3 men approach. I saw them from the darkness.
3 men? Mom, it must be the sheriff.
Listen well. You will go up into the Sangre Cristo Mountains.
Yes, into the mountains.
You will stay there until I come for you.
But how will you find him?
I shall find him. But he must trust me. Already there is a reward posted for his capture. The sooner he... So, the call of the wolf, that is our signal. The men who would capture you are very near. Go, Culver.
But what about you, Straight Arrow?
They shall not capture me. Go. Go at once.
Sheriff, here's the Culver shack. If you ask me, this here's a waste of time. Right, Lacey?
Yeah, Murdoch. Culver won't be there.
Well, maybe not, gents. But I want to talk to Mrs. Culver anyhow. Come on. She might have some idea where her son is.
If she does, she won't tell us.
Well, even so. After all, Murdoch, didn't you tell me you got another Wells Fargo shipment in a couple of days?
Yeah, day after tomorrow. 100,000. What of it?
Plenty. If Culver's still loose, he might try for it.
Nary a chance. Me and Lacey will be ready for him this time. Here we are, Sheriff. Here's the Culver place now.
Get to one side.
What in blazes? An Injun!
One side.
That Injun. He jumped right up out of the brush. Where'd he go?
I don't know. He hightailed past us faster than a spooked antelope.
Hey, there he goes.
Palomino. Transfer.
Jumping cactus. Sheriff, did you hear that? He's got a Palomino horse. That means...
Yeah, there's only one hombre with a coyote like that. Gents, that Injun was Straight Arrow. But I don't savvy. What's he got to do with Culver?
The next day, just at twilight, Straight Arrow located Randy Culver in the Sangre Cristos Mountains. They made camp and stayed there overnight. And in Calvados on the following morning, a short while after Murdoch and Lacey drove out of town in the stagecoach, Packy sauntered into the office of Sheriff Ferguson.
Morning, Sheriff. You call me Packy?
Oh, yeah, howdy. What can I do for you?
You still got a reward out for the capture of Randy Culver?
Yeah, mister. 500 cash. What about it?
Oh, nothing. Excepting yesterday when I was on my way back to Broken Bow Cattle Spread. That's Steve Adams' ranch.
Never mind Steve Adams. What about Culver?
Sheriff, he's up in the Sangre Cristos.
What? Mister, are you sure?
Sartin sure. I cut his trail yesterday. Caught a glimpse of him. And that ain't all, Sheriff. There was an Injun with him. Looked like a Comanche from the war paint, riding a giant Palomino.
Straight Arrow.
Huh?
Straight Arrow, that's who that is. The 2 of them, huh? Most likely in cahoots, and... By thunder, the stagecoach. It just left. It's carrying 100,000 in Wells Fargo securities. And with those 2 up there in the Sangre Cristos... Kincaid, Shorty, yes, sir. Get your guns and saddle up.
Trouble?
Plenty trouble. Culver and Straight Arrow, both of them up in the mountains. And the stagecoach heading that way now. We gotta get up there pronto.
A few hours later, as the sun climbed over the Sangre Cristos, Murdoch and Lacey drove the stagecoach up the first slope of the mountain trail. In the distance, still well behind them, came the sheriff's posse and Packy. And in the mountains themselves, on a high crag from which they could see the stagecoach as well as the distant posse, 2 men sat their horses. One of them was Randy Culver. The other, Straight Arrow.
Straight Arrow, there's the stagecoach. And yonder comes a posse. But I don't savvy what you're up to.
In a moment, Culver, all shall be clear. That stagecoach carries 100,000 in Wells Fargo paper. Much more than the 10,000 you were accused of trying to steal.
Hey, the stage. It's stopped.
Yes, my friend. And now it is time for us to go. Quickly, down the mountain. We must show ourselves to the posse.
The posse? You mean let them see us?
Yes, they must see us, because then they shall come after us. We must make certain they come after us. Up, great stallion, down the mountain.
Yes, that's it. Hurry!
The conclusion of Straight Arrow, as it was broadcast May 6, 1948, when Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues, following these messages from your favorite station. Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Mike Lindell and MyPillow launching the MyPillow 2.0. Now, when Mike invented MyPillow, it had everything you could want in a pillow. Now, nearly 20 years later, he's discovered a new technology that makes MyPillow even better. Of course, the patented adjustable fill of the original MyPillow, but now with brand new fabric with a temperature-regulating thread, it's the softest, smoothest, and coolest pillow you'll ever own. Say goodbye to tossing and turning and flipping your pillow over in the middle of the night. And more great news on the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer with my promo code Wyatt. MyPillow 2.0 is 100% made in the USA, 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square to receive the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer. Use my promo code Wyatt or call 1-800-928-4715. I'm Wyatt Cox. You're listening to Classic Radio Theater. Now the conclusion of Straight Arrow, staged to Calvados, as it was originally broadcast May 6, 1948.
Well, mister, here's the Sangre Christos, and nary a sign of Culver or that engine. The only thing we've seen is the dust from that stagecoach. You certain of your facts?
Dead certain, Sheriff. Culver and Straight Arrow are up ahead there somewhere.
I hope you're right. I tell you, if we don't locate them soon... What in thunder?
Hey, Sheriff, up ahead, look. It's the engine, and Culver's with them.
It's them, both of them. After them. Spur up your ponies. No shooting. They're still out of range. Hold your fire and ride. Get up there. Hurry.
Once certain that the posse was on their trail, Straight Arrow turned his stallion up the mountain. Together, he and Randy Culver followed each curve of the trail until ahead of them, they saw the stagecoach standing. Then they stopped.
Oh, great steed.
Straight Arrow, what do we stop for? The posse's after us.
We wait here, Culver.
But we can't wait. They're coming, I tell you.
Stand your ground, Culver. Trust me and let them come.
On galloped the posse up the curving trail, their guns ready, watching for Randy Culver and Straight Arrow. Suddenly, they burst into view, and as they did, Straight Arrow threw up his hand in the sign of peace.
Halt! Let there be no shooting! Halt!
Well, so you give up without a fight, do you? Don't try anything, Straight Arrow. Now, you neither, Culver.
We do not fight honest men, Sheriff.
Honest men, is it? After Culver here tried to rob the stage?
Culver did not rob the stage. Look ahead, there in the distance. There is your stagecoach. And if you look closely, you will see the men who are responsible.
What in blazes you talking about, Straight Arrow? We can see the stage all right with Murdoch and Lacey beside it. But even so, what in tarnation?
Yes, Sheriff. You see what they are doing. They are opening the Wells Fargo strongbox.
Well, doggone the thing.
They are the criminals, Sheriff. Randy Culver's knife was stolen from him, planted by them beside the trail. The securities that were found in Culver's desk were also planted.
All right, gravy, I savvy now. Murdoch and Lacey did so that they could get a bigger haul this time and put the blame on young Culver.
Yes, Sheriff. You see them? They're caching the valuables beneath a rock.
I see 'em, the ornery skunks. All right, Jen.
One moment, Sheriff. I have a better plan. Murdoch and Lacey have not seen us. Bring your posse back to Calvados. Let us go to your office and wait.
Here comes Murdoch and Lacey now. Heading right here for my office. Quick, you and Randy Culver get out of sight.
We shall, Sheriff. Come, Randy, behind this door.
Now, Packy, the rest of you gents, just sit easy like nothing was going on at all.
You bet. That's what we'll do. Sheriff Ferguson, stagecoach has been robbed.
Well, howdy, Murdoch. What are you and Lacey doing back here in Calvados? You left only this morning.
Didn't you hear me, Sheriff? We've been held up again.
Yeah, up in the St. Christus. They got the 100,000 in West Fargo paper.
Well, I'll be doggone. You don't say. Who did it, Murdoch?
Who do you think? Randy Culver, of course. Randy Culver and that straight arrow Injun. Well, don't just sit there. Get your horses. Get a posse. We gotta try
One moment, Murdoch.
What in? Murdoch. It's Straight Arrow. And Culver.
So Culver and I robbed your stagecoach? That is very strange, since both of us have been with the sheriff since noon. Ever since we saw you and Lacey rob the stage yourselves.
You saw... You mean...
We saw you ourselves, and so did the sheriff and his posse.
Lacey, we've been tricked.
Hey, watch out! Watch out!
Drop them. Drop your guns.
Let go my wrist. You ornery redskin. All right. All right. Here's my gun.
Yours too, Lacey.
Thanks, Straight Arrow. Those polecats were quick on the draw, but you sure got 'em first. All right, gents. Take these two along and put 'em behind bars.
All right.
Straight Arrow, I want to ask your pardon. And there's 500 cash reward coming to you for this.
No, Sheriff. I have no need for it. Give it to Randy Culver.
To me, Straight Arrow?
Yes, Randy. Use it for your mother to make her well. And now, adios, my friends.
Mr. Straight Arrow.
Yes, Sheriff.
We'll see you again, won't we?
Perhaps, my friend. Perhaps you will. But only when danger threatens. When there is injustice. Then you may look for Straight Arrow.
Hey, Steve, we're heading for the Cimarron. What's up?
Rustlers, Packy. We're out after a gang of thieving cattle rustlers. And before we're through, they'll come face to face with Straight Arrow.
Next week, another exciting adventure of the Old West, brought to you by the makers of Nabisco Shredded Wheat. Listen, same time, same station. Ride the trail with Straight Arrow. This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting System.
Howard Culver, starring as Straight Arrow, May 6, 1948, on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, and thanks to Ted at RadioMemories.com, as we go back to May 6, 1935, for an episode of Lum and Abner down in Pine Ridge, Arkansas.
Howdy, everybody. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner, brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. After Lum and Abner paid Squire Skimp $100 on two different occasions for finding the diamond that was lost in Pine Ridge the other day, the old fellows returned it to the stranger who lost it, only to find out that it was an imitation, and they failed to collect the reward. Well, as we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find Lum and Abner down at the Jot 'em Down store, where the main subject of conversation is still about the fake diamond. Listen.
Well, let's quit talking about it. It's done over now, and just forget it.
Well, I can't forget about it. Every time I try to forget it, that makes me think of it again.
Well, I'm tired of hearing you mouth about it.
Every time I think about Squire beating us out of $200, I get so dead blame mad I could go right over to his place and give him a licking.
Well, go on over there and give him a licking then, if that'll make you feel any better.
Well, that ain't going to get our money back, whipping Squire.
Why, of course not.
Well, I don't see no use to go over there and start a fight with him, man.
Well, I never told you to give him a whooping.
You did, too. You just now said for me to go on over there and do it.
Well, yeah, I said that, but I just...
Well, I don't think it looked right, me being the constable here, supposed to uphold the law, going around starting fights with folks.
Why, of course not.
Well, what you trying to get me to do it then for? Why don't you do it yourself if you want him whipped so bad?
I never said nothing about wanting him whipped. You was the one that kept talking about going over and giving him a whooping.
Yeah, let's just forget about it.
You wouldn't be no match for Squire nohow. He'll weigh 200 pounds.
Why, of course he will. That big bully. Why don't he jump on somebody's size if he wants to fight? Picking on me 'cause I'm littler than he is.
Why, he ain't trying to start no fight with you.
No, and he better not, neither. I'm just mad enough right now to go over there and beat the everlasting daylights out of him.
Well, go on over there then and do it. Quit talking about it.
There you go, trying to egg me into it again, Lum. I thought we argued that out just now.
Well, we did, but you just keep saying that you want to fight Squire. Go on, fight him.
Well, yeah, but I don't think you ought to let me do it. That ain't going to get us nowhere.
Well, it ain't none of my business what you do. You ought to be old enough to look after yourself by this time.
Yeah. I don't believe I'll go. Maybe I can quit being so mad. You know, that's my trouble. I just fly off in the handle. Lose my temper too quick. Get me mad and I don't know what I'm doing. Hardly.
Well, if you keep thinking about how big Squire is, I don't think you'll have no trouble controlling yourself.
No. And it's a good thing he ain't here right now, I'll say that.
Yeah, it sure is.
That blame him. How far is it over to his place?
Well, you know how far it is. You've been over there 1,000 times. See his house from here. There it sits, right over on the hill yonder.
Yeah, but now it's a heap farther than it looks, Lum, way that road circles around there.
Well, take that shortcut through the field over there, then.
Oh, I don't know, no. Now, that's awful low ground through there. I'm feared it'd be awful muddy through there after that rain we had last night.
Well, go around the road, then.
Well, there ain't no use to go clean around the road when you can cut across that field yonder.
Yeah, but you said the field was muddy.
Well, it is.
Oh, for goodness sake, Sam.
And if I have to go clean around the road there, why, it'll take me too long. I don't believe I can stay mad that long. Might get over there and I wouldn't be mad no more, and he would, and then what would I do?
I don't know.
Reckon I could take along a present of some kind.
A present?
Yeah, what'd be nice to give Squire?
To give him?
Yeah, some kind of a nice present. I wish it was Christmas. Reckon when his birthday is.
What you talking about giving him a present for? I thought you was going to give him a whooping.
Yeah, well, I was going to, but, well, we're so busy here. Maybe I better not leave the store long.
Well, we ain't busy. Yeah, go ahead. I can look after things for myself. Grandpap will be back directly anyhow.
Yeah, that blame it. He's always showing up right at the wrong time.
Well, go on over there if you're going.
I thought you wanted me to forget about it.
I do. We've got to decide on them plans for remodeling the store here.
Well, you'll need me here at the store then, won't you?
Why, sure.
Well, good for you. Yeah, let's quit talking about Squire.
Yeah.
Every time I get to thinking about it, I get so dead blame mad I could go right over to his place and beat the everlasting daylights out of it. Oh, wait a minute. You need me here at the store, don't you? Good.
Yeah, ain't no use to keep talking about it, Abner. We's lucky to get out of that diamond deal easy as we did.
Oh, yeah.
Lost $200, but that's better than it would have been if we'd have had to pay that feller $1,000 for that diamond he lost. We can thank Grandpap for that.
Yeah, well, Grandpap just beat me to it. I was just fixing to run him out of the store myself, Lum.
Yeah. You're about like me. You believe the whole story. May as well admit to it. We'd have both paid him the money if it hadn't been for Grandpappy Spears.
Yeah, I reckon so. But I was awful mad, though. I know that. I know I was mad. I can recollect that.
Yeah. Well, the thing that scared that feller off was when Grandpap threatened to call the sheriff out here from the county seat.
Yeah, that's what done it.
He never wanted to get up mixed up with no sheriff, did he?
No, sir. Body could tell he's afraid to face the sheriff here.
Boy, that shows he was a crook right there.
Why, sure. And Squire's bound to have been in cahoots with him all along, too, that low-down Squire Skinner.
Of course he was, of course. But proving it's another thing. We say he was, and he said he wasn't. So what you gonna do?
Well, I'm going over there and get... Oh, that's right. Well, Grandpap says he's going to get that $200 back first anyhow, whereabouts are them plans you was talking about?
Right here. Right here.
Let's see them plans.
Proud to see you interested again.
Yeah.
Keep talking about giving Squire a whooping. Just forget about that now.
Well, I'm trying to forget it. I keep reminding myself every time I think to forget it, I think to start it over again.
Now, here, I was talking to Ezzy Seastrunk this morning. He says he'll do the carpenter work here in the store for $100.
$100?
Yeah.
Well, Ezzy's right handy with the saw and hammer, all right. He's always laid out here at the casket makings ever since I can recollect here in Pine Ridge.
Yeah, only trouble, Ezra can't read or write, and he couldn't tell nothing about these plans I've got drawed up here.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't hold that against Ezra, Lum. You've showed them plans to might nigh everybody's come in the store here, and so far you're the only one that can tell anything about them.
Yeah, looks like I'm about the only architect around here.
Oh, my goodness, Lum.
What's the matter?
Squire, look, he's coming in here, Squire Skinner.
Yeah, good. Now you won't have to go over there to give him that whooping.
Who? Quip who?
Why, you was talking about going over there and giving him whooping a while ago.
Yeah, but don't you know, Lum, we decided I better not do that, you know.
Old Squire don't know what he's walking into.
Now, Lum, don't you let me start no fight with him now. If I get to saying a batch of stuff I oughtn't to, why, you just make me hash up. Tell Squire I don't mean it.
No, sir, I'm going to tell Squire every last word you said.
Don't you do it now, Lum. I was mad when I done that. I get mad and I don't know what I'm saying. I ain't responsible
well,
for what I say.
All right, I just judge
No, don't tell him, because I don't think I meant it.
No, neither one of us don't want to act mad.
No, that's the time. Yeah. Fool him, won't we?
Well, what I mean by that, I'm going to try to figure out some way to get even with him, and if he knows we're mad about it, why, he's going to be watching us awful close.
Why, sure.
I want him to think that we forgot about the whole incident.
Yeah, that's the time.
Be quiet now. Well, howdy, Squire.
Yeah, hello, Squire, old boy. Come here. You can't tell how mad I am, can you?
Well, how are you today, Squire?
Why, all right, I guess, Lum. How are you gentlemen?
Oh, just only tolerably, sort of down with the rheumatiz again.
Yes, well...
Sit down, Squire, sit down.
No, thanks, Lum. I can't stay. Just dropped by here. I heard some bad news about you fellers.
Bad news about us?
Why, yes, somebody was telling me that that stranger, you know, refused to give you the $200 reward for that diamond head that you found. I just heard it a while ago.
Yeah, well, he claimed it was a fake.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Said it wasn't the one he lost told.
Yes, well, that's what I heard. That's too bad, sure. I just hope that you men don't think that I had anything to do with it.
Oh, no, Squire. I hadn't thought nothing about that.
Oh, no, that never entered our heads at all, Squire.
Of course not.
Well, just to prove to you that I want to do what's right, I'm going to give you men your $200 back.
You mean you'll...
Rather than to have you think for 1 minute that Squire Skimp would beat two of his best friends out of $200, I'll gladly give you the money back and take the diamond. Or, that is, the stone that I told you we thought was a diamond.
Well, I don't know what to do, hardly, Squire.
Well, I tell you what I'll do, man. I'll make it $300, not a cent more. That's my top price, $300.
$300?
Doggies, Lum, can't you talk? Tell him you'll take it before he backs out.
Sure, we'll take it. If you want to do it, recollect it's your own proposition, though.
Well, have you got the diamond, Lum?
Oh, yeah. Grandpap took it into the county seat for me Saturday and had it set in a ring for me.
Yes, that's what he was telling me.
See, I was aiming on giving it to Evalena for a engagement ring. But, of course, if you want to give me $300 for it, there it is.
Yes.
Now, give her some money. It's yours.
Thank Doggy, Squire, that's sure fair, I'll say that. I knowed all along that you'd do the right thing about it. I was just telling Lum a while ago I was aiming on giving you a nice present. Wasn't I, Lum?
Shut up, Edmund.
Well, here you are now, Lum. There's 20, and 40, and 60, and 80, 100, 120.
Well, this certainly does not sound like Squire Skimp. Something wrong. This is Carlton Brickert speaking for Lum and Abner and Horlicks, who now bid you all good night and good health.
From May 6, 1935, Lum and Abner here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. What is Squire up to? You know he's up to something. Anyway, thanks again to Ted at RadioMemories.com. He supplies us all these Lum and Abner shows you hear here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. He did a lot of work in restoring the shows, and I hope you will visit Ted at RadioMemories.com. Shows available on cassette, CD, or on flash drive for your computer. That is RadioMemories.com. RadioMemories.com. Our webpage is ClassicRadio.stream. ClassicRadio.stream. Stream our shows on demand. You can find a list of podcast sites that have our shows available for download. You can also find our social media links. You can also learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. And if you're so inclined to help us maintain our distribution channels and help us acquire additional classic radio collections, you can buy me a coffee. The Buy Me a Coffee money goes toward just that. ClassicRadio.stream. Please thank this radio station and support their advertisers, and tell all your friends the greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.